Hey guys, today on the BlastCast, we'll be discussing atmospheric effects, updated materials and material rendering, the updated development of the Buccaneer, and a few other things. Let's get to it. Welcome everyone to another week of BlastCast. Once again with me is my bastion of common sense, Lightning Dragon. And of course we are quickly approaching the anniversary sale on the 18th, which will show the Prowler. And of course, man, I'm really excited to see what kind of ships are coming out. I hope some of the rare ones come out. Please, please, please be the Phoenix, because I really want to upgrade to that. And really kind of in a drought right now for information. There was some good things out this week, but still no updates about 2.6 or any of the flight model changes. So they're still, sounds like they're working on all that, and they'll probably give us more information when they actually have something to say.
I thought we changed it. We were going to call it flight.
Oh, that's right, flight mechanics.
Not flight mechanics, but was it flight mechanics?
Flight mechanics.
Flight mechanics.
Yeah, the model's the same. The mechanics are changed, but yeah, it's old habits die hard.
Yeah.
There were some pretty interesting snippets that came out during the course of this around the verse, and the one that first caught my eye was the discussion about the air pressurization system for atmosphere and stations. Because as you know, right now, it's all faked. Yeah, ships too. Right now, it's all faked. So right now, as far as the as it goes with, like, if you leave the station and you go into the airlock, and if you don't have a helmet on, you die. But if you glitch your way through,
like I have done, which I think was probably on the channel somewhere.
Yeah, it was a while ago. That's when we were first playing around. It's one of the older videos. But you could walk around outside, you know, completely and totally without anything on, literally be in your underwear and be totally fine. Well, the new system will actually go ahead and make sure that atmosphere is an important factor of the game, and I think that is very important for something that dealing with so much space. And the container room and connector system that they have in there, what I liked about it, besides the fact they showed the atmospheres, like what was comprised of this much oxygen, this much nitrogen, because atmospheres are going to be important for different alien races. So to me, that's, you know, like, oh, you go into a station and you do a scan of the air and it's comprised of this. You're like, oh crap, Van Duel are in this now. They've taken this over. That's who's here. So you can use that kind of information to kind of get a quick eyeball maybe on who's taking over this location or something like that.
I did a search, and I was reading, and I haven't seen anything talking about the different aliens currently in the game breathing different oxygen, but I believe they did mention that.
Yeah.
In who knows how long ago they mentioned it, but I believe it's something they want to have.
Yeah, and with a system like this, they can do it. And that, of course, means that if you try to board a Van Duel ship, you're going to probably have to keep your helmet on. But you probably want to anyway. You'll probably be in a firefight. And also what I liked about the system is that the atmosphere drains quicker from the locations closer to the breach, and then it starts draining from the outside rooms. So it has this natural kind of flow to it, where it draws from the closest to the fastest to the furthest. And I think that's nice. It's a sense of realism that is very. It's going to feel very immersive. You know, I mean, you could be in a far off room, like in a station, and there's like one of the airlocks was blown open, and maybe like for some reason the security doors or whatnot haven't come down, and your oxygen levels start dropping slower. But those guys in the lobby are now blown out in the space or whatever.
Or if you're on an Idris and it's being boarded by hostile aliens, and they literally, you know, rip a hole in the side of the ship to get in, you're gonna maybe want to run around and close a bunch of airlocks and find the nearest container not container, but changing station to get a, you know, pressurized suit on. Or
yeah, well, the reason I kind of like this is, you know, we play space engineers, and when we build ships, there's atmospheres in the ships, and when you don't have something sealed, the whole ship can pretty much sometimes not hold any pressure whatsoever, and it just goes away very, very quickly. And I think something like this, to be able to have those kind of leaks where it's, you know, this one room is causing the problem, and then it's leaking out here, and if the door's open, it doesn't instantly drain the other room. It's just it's a much slower process, or a more realistic process. I think that's something I'd even like to see in space engineers, but, you know, that might be asking too much. So they did give us some updates about the Buccaneer, and they kind of described it as fast, maneuverable, and flimsy. And when they said flimsy, what the idea that I got into my head, especially when you talk about fast maneuverable, is like think of a more like a what better armed Gladius. It's not something that's going to be able to take a lot of hits, but they say it's kind of the counter to the Super Hornet, but on the firepower and maneuverability side, where the Super Hornet has the firepower and the tanky side. And so it's kind of the opposite piece to that, and I think that's going to bring an interesting dynamic. And me, I always kind of prefer maneuverability to tankiness because it's better not to be hit at all than to just suck up a lot of damage, in my opinion. They are adding maneuvering thrusters around the main engines to make it work better, and they actually had for the white box concept, and I don't know if this is a total number of thrusters or this is just different directions. They set up 28 total thrusters in the white box concept model, and that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to see the nature of those if they ever get into that, but I don't think the final model's got 28 thrusters. That's gonna be interesting.
Well, the thing about the thrusters is if they're all fixed thrusters and there's no gimbaling, you'd need a lot more to compensate.
You know, that's a really good point. If they on this model they do go fixed thrusters, that ship would handle extremely well. There wouldn't be any delay at all between repositioning of those. I've always thought fixed thrusters was kind of the way to go in this game, and these gimbally thrusters, and maybe they'll start going that route. I don't know. We'll see. The gimbal gun that's on the belly of the ship. Now, they mentioned that they're redoing the landing gear so that the gimbal turret underneath the cockpit will be able to be used when it's landed, so the landing gear in the front don't obstruct it. Now, that's interesting to me because, you know, it kind of gives me that idea of, you know, an Empire Strikes Back, the gun comes down off the Millennium Falcon and it starts shooting the stormtroopers. You know, that's kind of cool.
You know, there's another movie that did that. I wonder what it was. It wasn't probably the complete ripoff of A New Hope. Yeah. I mean, never mind.
Yeah, so basically, you know, this idea of being able to land your ship and then use the turret as some sort of like people are trying to run to get to their ships and you're already on the ground and you're just, you know, opening up on whoever's coming out the door. That's pretty interesting. Though I think I'd still rather be in the air. But then again, on the ground, you are pretty stable, so it gives you a really good chance just to aim exactly where you need to put it. So it trade-off right there. They're changing the cockpit up a little bit. They're going to be adding the entrance to the left-hand side. The initial concept showed the entrance on the right-hand side, but they don't have animations for that, which seemed to me kind of weird because wouldn't you all you have to do is flip the animation? But you know,
you'd think you just mirror it, but it might be more complex than that.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. To me, it seems like, but maybe I don't know. I would think you just flip it. You get to a certain point, and then you just revert back to normal. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
It might be part of like a mixture of two things, and one of them just being that, like, for example, if you buy a certain type of car, like, you know, let's just say Chevy, because I can't think of anything that's for sure. It's always on the driver's side when you go to fill up your tank. You know, you go to drive the car, you always get in on the left side of the car, unless it's a foreign car. But I think it might be a little bit of both. Is the animations are not there, which just seems weird. But it might just be like you get in on the left side of a fighter, just to kind of streamline the whole process. So, you know, when you pull out anything that's a fighter, you get it on the left side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of an odd change to me. It seems like you just mirror it. It said maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just the entrance. It doesn't really have any gigantic effect on anything. They're doing the scales on the animations and the things like the ladders going into the ship, but they said they may have to modify or customize that entrance animation depending upon kind of like how that change comes with the landing gear. So they want to make the landing gear. Right now, in the additional model, the landing gear stays outside the ship always, but they want to basically have it fold up into the ship because the reason is that if a landing gear folds up into a ship, basically when the door closes around it, those are assets you don't have to draw anymore. You can remove those assets, and it optimizes the game more. So every time you're adding all these additional high detail assets or keeping them out and visible, you're eating up frame rate. So they're trying to find ways to basically hide these assets. And I agree with that. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And hey, if your landing gear is protected by something, that's also good too.
Less chance for it to get blown off.
Exactly. Right now, I mean, landing gear, like if you've been playing the Persistent Universe, you'll have a landing gear on a wing. The wing will get blown up, but the landing gear is still attached to the mid-air, and it's just floating next to you, which is kind
Attached
of
by
weird.
dark matter.
Yeah, well, that's why I think like a lot of these landing gears, like I was really happy with the Hornet redo when they moved the landing gear to the body, because the wings, first of all, it made the wings way thicker because you had to have the landing gear in them, and then you had the fact that if the wings get taken off and you can't land it, and the Gladiator still has this problem, but they hid the landing gear in the Gladiator, I think, way better, because it's in those well-defined angled tips that go down, and it actually fits that ship pretty well. Though if you do lose a landing gear, good luck landing. You're going to be just parking it on its side. So anyway,
if your ship is so shot to hell, you're going to make an emergency landing. It doesn't really matter. Not to mention the fact these are spaceships; they're not jet fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're trying to land an actual fighter, you've got wheels because it has to roll to a stop. When you're in space, you go forward, you kill your forward velocity, and then you go down.
I can see that you VTO down to the deck, and they start. You're like hovering at like just the left landing gear touching, and the right one's gone. Like, you see some guys stacking tires underneath where the wing's gonna set down to like
get a bunch of boxes to put underneath it.
Exactly, and they're just like, okay, that's enough, Marv. Go ahead and let her down. Yeah, I could see something like that, but it's not. Yeah, right. It's not as critical in a spaceship, but still, I still think it's always kind of a funny design direction. When it's in the main body,
no argument there.
Yeah, and the main body's blown up, you're dead, or the ship's dead anyway, and you don't really care if the landing gear are intact or not. So, they showed more information on the character pipelines dealing with the materials and how they're so able to quickly construct. Like the Desert Nomad that we saw, and they played around with it a bit, showing how they could change the materials and the colors and kind of come up with a custom character very quickly, and that's kind of cool to watch that. But what I was really interested in was how they made the materials have detail like on the cloth, and how they made it so that when you get closer to someone who's say wearing a shirt or whatever, a uniform, as you get closer, different levels of materials jump in. So as you get your eyeball pretty much right on top of the uniform, you see the threads in the individual uniform. And as you step back, these different layers load out. And when you see the comparison they show between the Squadron 42 2015 demonstration to the model that they have today, it's not even the same animal. I mean, one looked pretty good a year ago, and the new one looks like high quality CGI movie grade cutscene.
Yeah, movie grade production. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nancy here and say that I didn't really care about the clothing thing. It's like you can change the colors and you can change some of the textures. To me, that should just be pretty much standard issue. I'm glad that it's working, but big deal.
well, for me, it's looking at the tool sets. I love tool sets, and when the promise the Star Citizen has is that they want to give the modders the ability to get in there and do their own thing, and to do that, they need to have the tool sets to go ahead and make these changes and customizations very quickly. And I think having this kind of robust tool set where you can make these kind of radical changes is going to help not only the development team but future modding teams that come out and make maybe not necessarily versions of Star Citizen, but just say they want to do their own version of Star Trek, right? They can go ahead and use these different materials and these different colors and different things like that to quickly make a red shirt that we can all kill. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. I really enjoyed the hell out of that, and that's it. That's just me. Obviously, Lightning is not so hot on that, but
it was just color changes. I mean, there was some texture changes too. Yeah,
but I'm talking about the zoom in. The most important present part to me was the zoom in, though. I mean,
that's just high level of detail. They're whatever that's
ridiculous level of detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand, but that's for me. I'm a guy who loves the technical stuff, and you don't always have to agree with me. That's why you're here. So no, we have the. So I'll put a link down below for all that for the character quality. You can kind of see the comparison if you want to look at it like a little bit slower or a little different. To watch that section. The
facial animations and all that texture was very impressive, but to me the clothing was kind of whatever. I mean, I'm glad it has some good details and stuff, but
Well, I'm looking forward to see if they show us the Morrow tour again, like the updated version. If they're going to show us, I'm pretty sure from what we saw there, of what they showed of the new ones, that was from Squadron 42. So it wouldn't shock me that on the 18th we're going to get to see a Squadron 42 demo of some sort. So it really looks like that to me. That was kind of a hint. Also, we learned something very important. That of course, space mosquitoes are confirmed. They are large. They are in charge, and they will probably suck your entire body dry of blood.
Because they can be scaled up to be giant enemy mosquitoes.
Oh yes, exactly.
And they will attack you for massive damage.
That's gonna be the notorious thing that guy said for all times. Plus, that was the PlayStation, wasn't it? The PlayStation said that.
I don't remember who it was exactly.
Yeah, I think it was the PlayStation 3 when they were talking about that. That's realistic combat. Giant enemy crabs. What?
So here's this giant enemy crab. Attack its weak point for massive damage.
Anyway, so yeah, basically, it's nice to see them doing other animals. Obviously, we've seen the space worm. Now we've seen the space mosquito. I don't know if it's going to be in space or not, but that would be even freakier.
It could be a space bug.
Yeah, so
they showed that they can scale the animals up. They could literally scale it up to be the size of a starship and have it try and drink your ship.
That would be scary as hell.
That would be really scary.
But I'd like to see them. When you look at the way the planets are in this game, and a lot of them are be terraformed, and humans have actually gone and settled them. I would imagine that they could actually use a lot of standard, normal Earth-style animals, cows, squirrels, things like that.
Goats.
You'd imagine that when humans would settle a newly terraformed planet, that they would bring some of that. Some of those animals with them to breed them to populate, because you want to create an ecosphere, and you want to create that so animals eat the grass and then they poop, and then the more grass grows and people eat the animals, and it's a circle of life. So you want
and then Mufasa dies.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it's all important. If you want Disney to be involved in the new planets, you have to have the circle of life. So no, I don't think they need to do a lot of exotic animals. I think those will be going with planets that were, say, already inhabitable, maybe that humans found or went to, or alien planets. The Xi'an, the Banu. I don't think we're going to be going anywhere near their enemy territories, home planets, anytime soon. So the Vandul probably are not going to be giving us a tour of their home world.
Also, this other one I've never heard of, Thak.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on those races that's still kind of out there for us, but yeah, I mean, they don't need to. They can just do a few exotic animals or whatnot, and then fill the rest with more normal things. And so I don't think they should be I don't think they need to go overboard. Is what I'm trying to say, basically. Keep the exotic things exotic, and then just kind of like you're out there looking at this field full of cows, and then this gigantic space mosquito comes up and totally impales a cow and flies off.
Flies off with the cow.
you're just like,
okay, I'm not gonna accept this mission.
It's like, yeah, that's a thing that just happened. I'm like, I'm out of here. So yeah, it's like those kind of things. Just something that's just the normal meets the ridiculous in a sense of or at least the abnormal as far as you're used to. Lastly, I do want to go a nice call out to a video we found slightly before recording, which was by Zenthor Z. It's a Star Citizen fan project. I will have the link for the video down below here, and probably playing this in the background right now. Basically, the assets for one of the cities, I think it was Terra Prime, was kind of found in the Star Citizen files. Now what he's doing is he's kind of brought it into more active, like better lighting, and kind of gives you a nice fly through of this environment. Put it all under
the Unity engine.
Yeah, and he flies the Polaris. And a few other ships, not officially, he's still a better flight model than Line of Defense, but the thing is that basically he just takes these things around. He showed you some of these assets, and I've seen some of these videos before. Most of the times they've been kind of black and white or from a distance and haven't been very detailed. This one is a beautiful fly through, and it's well detailed, it's well done, and I think you should really check it out. It was 10-11 minutes long, and it is a really great watch if you want to see some of the earlier assets they have in there. Some are low poly, some are like say medium poly. I wouldn't say any of them are high poly, but you can see the direction they're taking the game. And when you look at
white boxing,
yeah. When you see the size of something like this, you're like, this is one city, and this is as much space as you would see in the entire Grand Theft Auto 5, in my opinion. It's just like, wow. And that's one city
And it's all
on
city.
one planet.
I mean, there's no mountain, there's no ocean. Yeah. There's like a river, and that's it. Like, and there's a giant rock.
There's some hills and a big rock, but yeah, but it's not. It's just like that one area, and that to me is just so impressive to look at. And I'm really excited about not just doing missions with ships or FPS or any of that. To me, I want to land on a planet, get my trading done, and then I want to go down the streets. I want to see what's out there. And that to me is a lot more what Star Citizen is. I want to go out and experience a virtual world that has a society and has all these things in it. And to see this video, to me, it really brought that sensation, like where we're going with this game. And it's just really exciting me. It really is. Well, anyway, guys, I said kind of a dry week this week because they're holding back a lot of information for what's coming out here on the 18th. But
yeah, and there will be no Around the Verse this week because on Friday they have the live stream anniversary thing.
Yeah. So save your paychecks, guys, because this is the anniversary sale. The anniversary sale is a lot of times where a lot of rare ships come out. So if you're looking to upgrade to something, like I'm going to upgrade my Killa to a Phoenix if it comes out, no questions asked, it's done. Those kind of things. If you're looking at just a lot of ships, sometimes you just don't see them unless the sales comes out, including things like the Idris. So if this is your time you've been holding on to your LTI Aurora to go ahead and cross upgrade to an LTI Idris.
That'd be ridiculous.
That would be the extremes. Well, so yeah, basically, or let's even more extreme for the Javelin actually.
Yeah.
So
$2,500. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather buy a car for that price.
Yeah, but still. But either way, so get ready, guys. Save up some money. There may be some good stuff out there. And if they're doing their new policy, by the way, which is, I'm not in disagreement with it. Some people aren't happy with it, but they're giving sales discounts on new ships that are purchased directly for cash, and the old price is retained for the ones that are just doing cross chassis. Some people are upset about that. I'm not. The more people that can come into this game, look, we've had these ships, we've been playing around with them. Some of these ships that we have LTI. At least the ones that are going back on sale at discounted don't have LTI. So I don't mind. To me, it's like, hey, get more people in the game, get more backers. Let people in. Star Citizen is a gaming community. It's more than just a game. So give these people a reason to come in and try it out. Give them something to play with, some fun toys, okay? We've been having fun with things. We've been watching the development. It's time to bring in some more people. We've been growing very fast. I mean, we're heading towards pushing heavily towards 1.7 million backers. It wouldn't shock me if we exceed that during the demonstration if it's a really good one. And we just keep growing, and that's what we should do. We shouldn't be upset when sales are offered, no more than someone offering a blue light special at Kmart. You don't get upset that they're offering a sale on lawn chairs because you bought your lawn chair 3 weeks ago and now it's on sale. It's just how it goes. That's the nature of it. These things happen, and I think and they do that to bring customers in. It's the same thing Star Citizen. It is a business. They do need to go ahead and get funding, and encourage them. Don't be so upset about it. This is not to everyone, obviously, but some people are upset about it. But anyway, guys, so that's it for this week. And obviously, next week's show is probably going to be pretty damn large considering everything comes out. And so anyway, so we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, and see you later.
Bye-bye.